Hey, what is going on, crypto people? Let's be real for a second. XRPFi isn't built for everyone. Ripple just backed the Centera merger, not to help the death grip on your ledger retail holders, but to build an institutional grade DeFi layer. And over on Flare, half the team that helped build Centora is now driving XRP5. That's not a coincidence. That's a coordinated move, in my opinion. Hugo said it himself. Catering to the majority of XRP holders is expensive in all kind of ways, not just money. So tonight we're asking the question no one else wants to. Is XRP5 really built for us or just the nucleus? Let's break it down. We're going to get into it. But guys, I appreciate you checking in. Welcome to the stream. It's cray out in those streets. It is cray out in those streets. Oh, you know what? Let me refresh this. Let me refresh this thing here because it's not. Did that work? Maybe that'll work. I'm not sure on the numbers. Want to make sure everyone's checked in. Everything is good. Keston Sinclair checked in first. Appreciate you being here, guys. Do me a favor and hit that like button on the way in. It's one of the greatest ways you can support the channel for sure. Appreciate you guys being here. The market is doing, the market does. Had to exit a little BTC today. Had to take some profit. I didn't get the chance to refresh CoinGecko. We'll do that, but I'm sure the market is just doing what the market does. Last I checked, it was just under 97,000, and I'm sure Bitcoin is just under 97,000 as we speak. I'm sure. If I can get this to refresh, there it is. I'm sure it is. Appreciate you guys being here. What an interesting time. XRP5, Ripple, and freaking Flare. Yeah, you know, they're not waiting on the death grip on your Ledger Nano XRP holders. They're not doing that. They are not doing that at all. Interesting stuff. SparkDex TVL is going cray in the streets, Flare networks. I'm noticing, Kirsten, I'm noticing that there are people who are commenting on Flare networks here as of late that are not necessarily part of the Flare networks community, right? And they're saying these positive, like they're paying attention. You know what I'm saying? Solana holders, Bitcoin holders, okay? Phantom ecosystem people, for example, paying attention to, got their eye out, looking on what's going on, looking out for what's going over on our Flare networks. That's what it's looking like to me. That is what it is feeling like to me that's going on in the digital asset space. And that's good. We're getting that organic attention, if you will, right? I bet you, I promise you, here in a few weeks to a couple of months, Arthur Hayes is going to come out and say something about Flare networks. Maybe when the the FXRP version 2 launches on Flare mainnet, maybe he comes out then. But I have a feeling you're going to get more and more people talking about what's going on over at Flare. Maybe, I don't know what the dates are for the XRPL Apex 2025, in which Hugo will be there talking about XRP staking. Maybe it'll be then. Maybe it will be then. We'll check it out. We'll look into it, but we'll look for it for sure. But I think there's going to be more and more people on the outside, not necessarily XRP holders, not necessarily in the Flare ecosystem, beginning to talk and sing the praises of what's going on over there at Flare Networks. I have a feeling. We're going to let some more people check in, and while we're letting more people check into the stream, I am going to go over the market, go over the numbers over at CoinGecko. So let's do this. I just refreshed it, so it should be good. Not as good as Flare FTSOs over at Flare providing the data. But let's go over to CoinGecko. Let's go over to CoinGecko real quick. Just go over these numbers. We're going to run through these numbers real quick, and then we're going to get into this post from Crypto Eddie. Whereas that was my what was that? That was my incentive, my inspiration for title and thumbnail and video content. Inspiration came from Crypto Eddie's latest post. So according to CoinGecko, your total cryptocurrency market cap is, this is interesting. It's 3.07 trillion, down nearly 1% in 24 hour. What's really, really interesting is seeing as Bitcoin dominance is going up and up and up. It's now over 63, almost 64% for the Bitcoin dominance. That's important to note. Very important to know. I sold my Kaido tokens. I don't know if I sold them early. Ooh, 42 cents. How much were they? I don't even know. Man, that would be interesting. Up 42% at $1.29. I don't know when I sold them, but I did sell them. I just sold them. I got them, put them into FLR. All right. Bitcoin is trading at again. On the 30-day, Bitcoin is up 23.5%. Ethereum is trading at just under $1,800 again. And on the 30-day, Ethereum is up 16.5%. XRP, the beloved, is trading at $2.11. On the 30-day, XRP is up 11.5%. Solana is trading at $145 again. And on the 30-day, Solana is up 38%. I'm still don't know what to do with my Solana. Am I going to follow? I don't know if I'm going to do it, man. Anyway, so we is trading at $3.27 again. And on the 30-day, so we is up 62.5%. I want to exit some Andu, some Solana, maybe into Sui and FLR. I've already done some other assets into Sui and FLR, but I'm thinking about doing it with a couple more assets. And one of those assets is Solana. There it is. I said it, Jungle. I said it, Jungle. One of those assets is Solana. Thinking about exiting. So Sui is trading at $3.27, up 62.5% on the 30-day. It's very crazy in the streets right now. Hyperliquid. Okay. There's a lot of green 30 days. We do have to note that. A lot of green 30 days. Wasn't it? No, it's Mantra. Okay. A lot of green 30-day double figure numbers. I mean, Monero nearly 40%. Hyperliquid 82%. I mean, Bitcoin Cash 30%. So that's good to see on a 30-day. That's a good trend. 30-day trends like that in the green is awesome. That is awesome to see. But BitTensor 83% on the 30-day. It's up. It's trading at $3.58, which is very, very interesting. Very, very interesting. But that's the market, fam. And the market is just doing what the market does. I can't wait to feel like I gotta exit my positions in the beloved Flare, by the way, the FLR token from the native asset of the Flare blockchain, EVM layer 1 blockchain, is that token is up 62% on the 30-day, trading at just under 2 cents. So that is the market, fam, and it is doing what the market does. Let me welcome some more people to the stream, and then I'm going to go over this post from Crypto Eddie. What's going on, Pookie Pookie? How are you, my friend? Life is good, bro. Life is good. Appreciate you guys checking in. All right, so let me go to this, see if I can't find this post from Crypto Eddie. It's a couple of them that I wanted to share. Unfortunately, the guy that I was having a lot of fun with going kind of back and forth got a little personal. So that is the end of that. That's the end of that. If you have to go personal, it's not worth it. It's not worth hanging out doing back and forth with you. So this is one thing. This is not the post that I got my inspiration from for this video today. But Crypto Eddie posted this as well. Quick 3 snapshots, she says. XRP locked on Doppler Finance is now over 7 million. By the way, the guy that I was going back and forth with, who I just told him, just be honest with yourself, bro. You're not just holding XRP or a trader of XRP. You're a hater of FLR and Flare networks. And I have proof positive because every post that I make about Flare, 70% of them he posts about how this, that, and this, that, and that. But you know, when I post about Doppler Finance, nothing. Aren't they trying to do staking for XRP? When I checked my 3 posts that I did about Doppler Finance that were attached to YouTube videos, nothing from that dude. But when I do it about Flare, Sir Lord is all over that. So it's definitely what it is. So XRP locked on Dapper Finance is now worth over 7 million with a combined TVL of 16.9 million, nearly 17 million. Interesting. Flare Networks has continued to rocket in TVL, up another 10% on the last 24 hours at 142 million. We'll take a look at DeFi Llama, see what's good over there. And she says in parentheses, XRP is still to come with some champagne bottles. Yes, indeed. Yes, ma'am. XRPL DEX, 37 million XRP locked. We should see about, she says here, we should see about a dozen plus or minus new DeFi protocols live. A dozen? Focused on XRP, beginning to roll out this month. So beginning to roll out. She says about a dozen. Interesting. And continuing through early summer. Be interested to see because I watched Jungle Inc.'s video today. Look, numbers are not great over there. I guess it's great in what it could be, but there's just some stuff that's not great going on right now. On the XRPL, number of wallets, it's just not a great look right now. She says the image source is from DeFi Llama. So Doppler Finance appreciated her sharing the stats. Milo XRP sharing some Enosis global APRs. Interesting. I don't use Enosis, but this is an XRP person sharing some numbers there for sure. Interesting APRs, but again, if you're trying to do DeFi, do not chase APRs. You need the 7 criteria for Intel liquidity pool that we share on this channel all the time. You don't, hit me up if you want it. Or you can join the Patreon for free and get it. It's pinned to the Patreon. You don't want to be chasing APRs. Too many people are doing videos on the how-to button functionality and not sharing the principles of DeFi. That'll bite you. That'll bite you if you're just teaching people how to push buttons. You need more than that. So this is my inspiration. This is the post that gave me inspiration to do a live stream today. Now you guys know on the live stream that I did yesterday, I think that's the second time I shared Hugo Fillion's post. It was 2 comments. Remember that post? 2 comments. So he was commenting on Crypto Writer. So here she says, let's be honest. You might not be a part of that quote unquote nucleus. Fact, she says. Ripple is laser focused on institutional DeFi and backed the Centaura merger. Say that again. CryptoCeej says, fact. Ripple is laser focused on institutional DeFi and backed the Centaura merger, building an institutional DeFi layer. Fact. Flare Networks is laser focused on XRPFi, and half the team that forms Centaura is helping to build out a successful XRP DeFi solution or solutions on Flare. Catering to the majority of XRP. This is a quote from Hugo. She's saying here, right? Because, that guy I was having a little back and forth with just completely missed the message when I share with Flare. I've always said on my live streams, or I've been saying of late especially, kind of feel like Flare Networks is further along in providing value to who? XRP holders. Feels like they're further along in that mission. All right, so this is a quote unquote from Hugo. She quoted here. Catering to the majority of XRP holders is expensive in terms of time, education, and resources invested. There are entities who sit on very large amounts of XRP that form the nucleus of a successful strategy to create an XRPFi market. Now, what I say about that doesn't mean that XRPFi is not for retail, but anyone got no time trying to convince those who got the death grip on the XRP and on ledgers to participate. You want to you want to do the death grip thing? There it is. I'm paraphrasing. I don't want to put words in Hugo's mouth, but that's what it sounds like to me. I saw someone post, man, I saw someone post when Ripple puts this thing in it, then I'm gonna put in because then I know it'll be safe. I saw that post on X. When Ripple gets in on this, then I'm gonna do something with my XRP because then I'll know it's safe. It's safe. Why is Ripple in charge of security? Are they running some nodes or something that validators? How is it going to be safe just because Ripple got into it? But anyway, she linked the comments here. Again, I want to cover Crippen Writer was suggesting he's stating he's stating the unfortunate truth. This is the unfortunate truth that he's stating. One realization I've had over the last few weeks is that if you can't even get 99% of XRPs held by holders to be used on the XRPL for DeFi, how in the world are you going to get them to go somewhere else? This is, in a nutshell, what he's saying. He's stating what I've been saying for a long, long time. This idea of the death grip on the valuable XRP, we can't spare, and they don't want to participate in DeFi for some odd reason. This is the reality. This is why the XRPL is in the status that it is in. It's from lack of participation. And then this is Crippen Writer. This guy's a big time value add. Trying to teach people how to do DeFi, the ins and out of the XRPL and the AMM, and right, nice value add to the community. He's just stating to Hugo, we can't even get the XRP holders to participate on the XRPL. Vast majority of people who hold XRP don't even know how to get on the XRPL. What? What? Like they don't understand. That's sad. That's sad. But anyway, Hugo's comments were this. There will be vaults on the XRPL where XRP holders can just deposit and earn yield. Now, this is going to be the people who understand that there is more risk into just holding on to XRP than there is to putting a certain portion of that XRP to work for you. But a vast majority of people don't understand how money works. They don't understand how money works and are here only for Wind Moon. And they don't understand the opportunity cost will come with that kind of thinking. They don't understand. That's the real impermanent loss. They think it's in the liquidity pool. No, it's in your thinking. So there will be vaults on the XRPL where XRP holders can just deposit and earn yield. This yield will be derived from other ecosystems. Right? And by the way, this whole deposit and earn yield thing, that's just one thing that Flare Networks is building out. It's just one thing. This yield will be derived from other ecosystems, like Flare, for example. He has EG Flare. The vaults abstract away the complexity for the depositor. He's trying to just tell Crippen Writer that we got an easy, simple way to do it, right? And then he says, see this project called More Markets, who Flare will be working with. More Markets is, I looked into them on their X page. I had some stuff. I joined their wait list. They're going to be doing something on Flare networks for XRP holders. They're going to be doing something on Flare networks for XRP holders. Another entity doing something on Flare for XRP holders. Number 2 point or comment from Hugo. Catering to the majority of XRP holders is expensive in terms of time, education, and resources invested. There are entities who sit on very large amounts of XRP that form the nucleus of a successful strategy to create a XRPFi market, right? And again, for me, I'm not putting words in Hugo's mouth. He can surely, clarify anything he would like to clarify. But to me, it sounds like he just understands it's just a number of people in the XRP community who are never, ever, ever going to do anything but wait for when moon and cash out their XRP, suffer through the bear market, and wait for the next when moon. That's it. That's it. That's what's going to happen. And that's their choice. It's their XRP. Do what it is that you want. Right? Do what it is that you want. Right? It's just the way it is. I'm just pointing the obvious advantages to DeFi when you know what you're doing. There's no risk. The risk is in the investor, right? The risk is in the investor for sure. I had to learn lessons for Celsius. I tell people all the time about the tons of XRP I lost. Yet, in the other DeFi platform that I was in, didn't lose that XRP. And that XRP holds more than almost 97% of XRP holders. This is a lesson learned, right? You learn. You learn the difference between CFi and DeFi. It's just a difference, right? Right? It's just a difference. But being afraid of, entering in a liquidity pool because of impermanent loss, what is that? That's an educational thing, right? That's a lack of education, right? That's right. Right? That's a lack of education. Crypto patient, what's going on, man? Crypto patient said doesn't matter who it's for as long as we all get the benefit. That's exactly right. It's for everyone. XRPFi is for everyone. It's for everyone. The bottom line is there's an understanding that some people ain't going to do DeFi. And you're not going to benefit from XRPFi just because you're holding XRP. That doesn't work like that. It's not going to work like that. It's going to require active participation to get the most benefit. I remember I remember. Well, let me put it to you this way: the Flare ecosystem significantly, it's not even close, benefits active participant of active Flare holder participants as opposed to death gripping it on a ledger. Significantly. And Hugo said that. They designed it that way for active participation. Yep. Yeah. For active participation. Even if it's just merely getting yourself a wallet or so and wrapping it. Because again, I'm telling you right now, there are people who hold XRP and don't know when they use the Xamin wallet, they're on the XRPL. I've seen comment after comment after comment. I want to do DeFi, but I don't understand how the AMM works and all this other kind of nonsense. Why you need to know how the AMM works to participate in a liquidity pool? Why? You need to know how a liquidity pool works, not the AMM. You got to understand how DeFi works. The good, the bad, the ugly, the benefits of the different strategies. What, I don't need to know about a continuous auction mechanism. Why? I don't understand that. Right? I don't understand it. Caught up in the mechanics. Got to learn the principles. Michael Z says, "Good to see you, bro. Always chipper and informative. Keep it coming. Thank you, my friend. Appreciate you checking in. Listen, I mean that's the real deal. And again, that's right. I call it de-risking yourself. Right? So Memento said, "There's no such thing as risky investment, just risky investors, right? And by the way, the vast majority of decamillionaires and billionaires took massive amount of L's before the win. There's too many people out here just petrified of the L because they don't have skills to recover from it. That's the bottom line. I will use some other words, but I'm not going to use it. Right? Want to invest, want to invest with no risk, want to provide liquidity without impermanent loss. Like, okay, how about leveling up your skills? How about really learning what a liquidity pool is and why you want to enter it? How about learning some skills? How about that? How about investing in yourself to learn what DeFi is and what it isn't? How about that? Invest in some time, invest in your money. How about you becoming a less risky investor instead of putting it on the project and the developers? That's what people want to do. They want to put it on the projects and they want to put it on the developers and they want to blame Hugo and they want to blame Brad and they want to blame David instead of just leveling up themselves. That's the issue. That is the main issue. And XRP5, of course, is for everyone. It's going to be for everyone. Certain elements of XRP5 are going to be for everyone. Those willing to participate, those who understand that if you got 1,000 XRP, you don't have to put 1,000 XRP in the XRP5. Why would you? Got to understand portfolio management. You got risk assessment. You got to know that there's a flywheel. You got to be on a journey of becoming a sophisticated investor, not a trader. Right? These are things we all have to learn. The fact of the matter is, people who are participating in DeFi are making significantly more money than people who are just waiting around for Win Moon. Those are the facts. It's just math. It's just simple math. It's like just simple math. Question for you. If you're in a liquidity pool that has SOE and has Deep, which is the token for the deep book protocol, you're in a liquidity pool with those two assets, right? And when the assets class is raging, roaring, and booming, are you making money or losing money? When moon is happening, are you losing money or making money in a liquidity pool with SUI and Deep? If they're correlated, of course. What are you doing there? Are you somehow missing out on Wind Moon? Are you missing out on Wind Moon? Right. Number one, if you're doing DeFi right, you have a certain amount of your SUI and a certain amount of your Deep in the liquidity pool. You also have a certain amount of your SUI and a certain amount of your Deep in the money market platform. You also have a certain amount of your SUI and a certain amount of your Deep in cold storage. Right. And that's just three things out of the things you can do. Right. So when my mentor is generalizing, there's no such thing as risky investment, it's just risky investors. That's what he means. You don't know enough. Question is, are you willing to learn? That's the key. You got to be willing to learn. You got to educate yourself. Educate yourself. That's the key. Pookie is as simple math, CJ. Right? If you're not increasing the size of your stable coins in the bear market, how are you doing better than those who are? You increase the size of your stable coins in DeFi in a bear market. If you know what it is that you're doing, right? Institutional people do that all the time. You don't think institutional people you don't think institutional people make money in the bear market and the bull market? You don't think they make money in the bear market? Of course they do. There's a lot of people in crypto who exit this market completely. Don't get on YouTube, X, nada in the bear market. It's their life. I'm just suggesting to you that you make more money. You can increase the size of your bags in a bear market. I mean, if you're interested in that, cool. If not, cool. But don't blame DeFi. How is that not impermanent loss? Or as my guy Mickey B. Fresh likes to say, opportunity costs. Because you don't know the strategy to win in a bear market. That's what they call opportunity costs. Now, if you're good with that, I'm good with that. But don't run around like our guy Sir Lord saying Flare Networks is dangerous. It's trying to hurt you, trying to harm you. Or worse, for God's sake. When Ripple does it, I'm gonna do it. What? Uh what? That's the that's worse. You ain't thinking for yourself? You're waiting on oh my goodness. Anyhow, let me share some let me share some more stuff here. I want to share I shared both of Crypto Eddie's posts, right? I think I did. So ultimately, XRPFi is for everyone willing to participate. I love the fact that Hugo and the team decided to put together a framework that exceedingly rewards active participation as opposed to not. I think it's awesome. I think it's awesome that they did that. See here. Jungle shares something. I want to share. My guy Jungle shared this. New Hampshire just passed the first ever Bitcoin reserve bill into law. It lets the state treasurer buy Bitcoin with taxpayer funds. But here's the catch. Only digital assets with a 500 billion plus market cap can qualify. 90-10, Pookie Pookie. 90-10. The vast majority in crypto are doing it the other way around. They're hanging out in the sub 5 million, putting everything they got into it. It's just the opposite. Only digital assets with a 500 billion plus market cap qualify. Right now, that means just Bitcoin. But ETH, XRP, and other top cryptos break. If ETH and XRP and other top cryptos break that threshold, they could be next. We'll see. We'll see. I just think it's interesting If this 500 billion plus is part of it, it's part of it, doesn't, right? If it's 500 billion, it's 500 billion. So when XRP tops it, Treasurer's got the okay, right? If this is the qualifier, only digital assets with the 500 billion market cap, right? He says here, this isn't just a Bitcoin story. It's the beginning of crypto-backed state treasuries. I couldn't agree with him more. I could not agree with them more. But Bitcoin's slow, though. Well, Bitcoin's not great for payments, though. This is the argument you hear. Bitcoin's slow. It's not great for payments. I don't know why BlackRock and Fidelity and BNY Mellon and the likes didn't have a problem with that. Just decided to go ahead and do that anyway. Decided to do the Bitcoin ETFs anyway. Even with Ethereum gas fees, cray. Who's going to do that? Ethereum gas fees for that, not a solution make. Remember hearing all that stuff? Yeah, yet and still got Ethereum ETFs. Can you imagine? It's just right. You just we have to understand how money works. It's not my thing and my asset versus your thing and your asset. It's how money works. That's it. It's just how money works. They understand, New Hampshire understands that Bitcoin and crypto is the greatest performing asset class in the history of asset classes. And the number one performant is Bitcoin. What should they do? Be going down? They should be going down CoinGecko, going down the risk curve because of the possibility of the greater multiples. You ever think about that? They should be going down CoinGecko, going down the number 50 and 100 and 200 because of the possibility of the greater multiplier in return. Is that what they should be doing? It's funny how they're going to just be good with this little 3 to 10x. It's funny how they're going to just be good with a net 130% year over year return. Isn't that funny? But most retail says, oh, but man, this particular token could 20x. This particular thing can 30x. Bitcoin, that's only going to 3 to 10x. You understand? The thinking is backwards. I'm going to share this. I don't know. I'll share this. Panel says there's an obvious issue. Well, let me see. Well, he's reposting something from who's.crypto. I don't know who's.crypto is. This chart tells pretty much everything you need to know about the state of issued assets on the XRPL. Little chart here, right? AMM pools, XRP pooled. Panel says here, right? He's a project lead and builder on the XRPL, Anados Finance, right? There's an obvious issue. XRPL's AMM has been very stagnant and not much new XRP has been added for months. While the number of pools and worthless tokens keeps growing, the only solution is more high quality assets, stablecoins and RWAs as soon as possible, combined with more high quality projects and platforms, which comes with more incentives and support for them. that also simplify onboarding and interacting with the XRPL. Users and communities should be more careful, more vocal, more demanding from projects, and especially worthless tokens that not only offer zero value to the ecosystem, but extract. We need to do better. And it will only be an effort of both builders and users. We need to keep pushing, keep using the good products, keep building, keep improving together. CryptoCeej is sharing another project coming to the XRPL ecosystem. I looked into XP Finance as well. In fact, I posted about XRP Finance because for some reason, if I post the title of my YouTube video, I'm shilling something. Like I posted, when is Link2 going to offer its services to other than accredited investors? So apparently I was shilling Link2, according to Sir Lord on X. I was shilling Link2, promoting Link2. Anyhow, and says CryptoCeej, and there's more. This one is a DAO. It's raining all types of first DeFi protocols in the XRP ecosystem. Shout out to CryptoCeej. I hope you're doing well, miss. I told you summer of 2025 was going to be like this, and it's just getting started. So I'm gonna try to find my more markets and my XP Finance. All right, so we'll look at it together. XP Finance, lending and borrowing, followed me. Okay, that's awesome. It says here that XP Finance is the first lending and borrowing protocol on XRP. Docs were published on Monday. The protocol is governed by a decentralized autonomous organization, so DAO. So anyway, I reposted this. Let me see if I can't find it. You know the question we ask on the channel all the time. This is the dude has lost his way here. Said I was shilling Link2. I'm like, dude, you're not watching my videos, bro. Right here, I said, who's going to be the Ave of the XRPL? Now, those who tune into the channel regularly understand. I've been asking this question for a minute. Who is going to be the Ave on the XRPL? XP Finance said, we might just take the crown. So we'll see. They got an interesting take on what they're doing for lending. It's a little bit interesting take. I went over the docs. It's kind of depositing into liquidity pools. It's an interesting thing, but we got to see more of the docs. We got to get more of the white paper and kind of what it is before we can kind of make a decision either way. But I asked the question and they said we might just take the crown. We need a nice, healthy money market, if you will, for lending and borrowing on the XRPL. We need it. 100%. We need it. Of course, people asking questions and yeah. Uh, this is the challenge with the mindset. XRPL DAOs popping up like weeds. But let's not kid ourselves. Trust is rarer than a legit airdrop. Stake on the main chain or risk getting burned by the next shady protocol. Stake on the main chain. So this is lending and borrowing platform. And they got stake on the main chain. This is the problem. Absolute fair, not enough knowledge, kind of couple those together. That's the problem. How is the chain going to make a difference in the security of the asset? Bad guys can get to your stuff without having to hack the chain. Let me say that again. Bad guys who are smarter than us, okay? They can get to your stuff without having to go through the blockchain. The blockchain's not going to save you. You are going to save you. Not the blockchain. Not because Ripple got on the chain. That's not how it works. You've got to save you. And then how about this? Have the courage, the intestinal fortitude, the knowledge, and the skill set to recover from a loss. How about that? How about considering that as an option? It's hard to win without the L's. Like it's hard to win big without an L. It really is. Can't you recover from an L? I'm not suggesting that people go out and lose money. What I'm suggesting is this whole fear around it. That is the L. That's the L. Again, we joke around. We say, how about just de-risking yourself? How do you do that? You got to increase your knowledge. You got to increase your skill set. You got to learn what it is that you're doing here. This whole notion, I'm telling you, this whole notion of being in this space and just holding on to your Ledger Nano for dear life is costing you. Oh, CJ told me to go stake. I didn't tell you to go stake anything. I'm saying sitting around and not leveling up your skill set in this space is costing you. Tuning into XRP entertaining content creators just to feel good about your investment. It's costing you. It's costing you. Let me see who else checked in. Find out what's good. Rick Cisneros is in the building. What's going on? See, Rick remembers. Rick says, CJ, you also said who is going to be the Uniswap on the XRPL? Yeah, that's right. Who's going to have the better swapping features? Who is going to have some maybe add even apps perps to it? Who's going to do it? You take a look at Spark Dex on AI. It's not just a place where you swap tokens. Take a look at sparkdex.ai. Look at the feature sets over there. Who's going to do that on the XRPL? That's what I'm asking, right? This is what I'm asking. Yeah, But I mean, you can read great books on how to become a sophisticated investor, or you can listen to DAI. It's up to you. Really, it's really up to you. So let me share this. This again, crypto. My inspiration for this video was from Crypto Eddie's post. Um, Rick Cisneros, did you see that post? It was very, very interesting from Crypto Eddie. Here's the post. Is that the post? That's not it. Let's see. Here it is. Let's be honest. You might not be part of that quote unquote nucleus. The fact is, Ripple is laser focused on institutional DeFi and backed the Centaur merger, building an institutional DeFi layer. The fact is, Flare Networks is laser focused on XRPFi, and half the team that forms Centura is helping to build out a successful XRP DeFi solutions or successful XRP DeFi solutions on Flare. Here's another fact. The Flare Networks ecosystem was built out to support active participants in the Flare ecosystem, rewarding significantly more those who actively participated as opposed to just people hanging out with the death grip on their ledgers. Yeah, that's the facts. And they are indisputable. I think this is interesting. I'm going to share this real quick before I share my guy Flare. What is this called here? Flirtatious? I think that's flirtatious. I'm going to go with flirtatious. Hopefully he'll reach out and let me know if I'm saying that right. S Bitcoin is coming soon on Sui. Holders of the one-to-one programmable Bitcoin asset can earn yield, lend, and trade their Bitcoin via SBTC, bridging two worlds into one. This is what Flare's doing. There's no difference. I don't know. I mean, they're doing it. Sui is using Stacks. Flare's doing it natively. Right? Stacks it's a project out there, right? It says with Stacks SBTC, the Sui ecosystem has even more ways to tap into the 2 trillion in Bitcoin liquidity for DeFi. I would argue the Flare Network solution is better. I would argue that Flare Network's solution is better. But there it is. There it is right there. So just wanted to let you know that. Oh, apparently someone did a little search on F and all these FBTC and FXRP and F Doge. I thought I saw that months ago. So maybe Worm is just learning that, but I thought I saw that months and months ago. So I want to share this, just kind of my thoughts here on this post from Jungle about the XRP Markets report and the fact that Ripple is kind of sunsetting it, et cetera, et cetera. XRP Markets report, what you may have missed, says Jungle. Sunsetting the XRP Markets report is a defensive move. Hidden meaning, Ripple is ending the quarterly report, not just because it was ineffective in pushing industry transparency. That's a fact. But because it was used against them in legal proceedings, especially by the former SEC leadership. This suggests Ripple was tightening control over its narrative post-lawsuit victory. Why it matters, says Jungle. It reflects a strategic communications shift. Ripple may be gearing up for more high-level financial plays like IPOs, major banking partnerships, and acquisitions, where risk mitigation and message control are critical. It also hints Ripple no longer feels it must prove itself via over disclosure. So I think it's more on the strategic front because the fact of the matter is their form of communication and being more transparent did end up helping them. And why it should be a lesson learned, right? They made a move and it cost them. You make a move and it costs you. And you just rebound and you press on. Right? Because you know who you are. And so you can do that as opposed to being scared to make any moves because you think you can't recover and you can't rebound. That's the real issue. It's right here. Right? So where risk mitigation and message control are critical, it also hints Ripple no longer feels it must prove itself via over disclosure. Yeah. So these numbers in this report, you know, even this is going to be kind of like the last one. It's just not great, man. XRP market behavior shows institutional positioning. Despite overall on-chain activity dropping 30 to 40%, XRP in price outperformed Bitcoin and ETH. Right? That's the just a different thing. This on-chain activity going down, it's just not great. Says XRP is gaining fiat pair market share up 25% to 20, up from 25% to 29%. What most will miss, institutions may be quietly reallocating toward XRP ahead of a wave of new products, ETFs, futures, stablecoin use, despite retail cooling off. Yeah, they may. The fiat pair growth suggests deeper onboarding of XRP by regulated players, not just the tether-driven speculations. Yeah, I got it. So those are some alarming numbers in terms of on-chain activity. That's not what you want to see if you hold XRP, because an institution hopping on the ledger is not going, doesn't mean that it's going to create value for XRP holders. The greater the on-chain activity, the greater the value of the network. Thus, the greater value of the underlying asset of the network. That's how it works. It doesn't work any other way. Right? Metcalfe's law is Metcalfe's law. Network adoption is network adoption. You either got it, or Metcalfe's law is working in your favor, or it's working against you. It's the bottom line. Look, these new wallets dropped by 40%. It's just not great. But trust lines increased. I don't know the whole trust line thing. I don't know if a bad person can create a trust line or not, but I think so. So new wallets dropped by 40%. It's just not great. It's just not great. I'm really curious about more markets and XP Finance. Let me do something real quick before I play my dude's tune. Let's look at more markets first, then we'll look at XP Finance. More. See if this will work. Remember, Hugo in parentheses said, "See more markets." All right, see if this will come up. Here it is right here. More markets. Turning idle tokens like XRP and Doge and Bitcoin into productive assets. Earn yield while staying on native chain. Previously, this project was called Nuffle Labs. Okay, Nuffle, N-U-F-F-L-E. So that's the thing. This is the project that Hugo referenced when he was commenting to Krippenreiter. Okay. You need more. We need more. DeFi need more. Introducing more markets. The global liquidity marketplace, turning idle tokens like XRP, Doge, and Bitcoin into powerful assets, earning unmatched yield. What's this mention more key today? What is that? There was a wait list for some stuff there, I thought, for sure. The problem, fragmented liquidity and custodial solutions are hurting DeFi. Centralized exchanges, bridge hacks, and BlockFi top blow-ups hurt trust. Assets like XRP, Doge, and Bitcoin are stuck in their chains. Holders are missing high-yield opportunities. You deserve more. And it's not just about high yield, right? I mean, it's not about chasing APRs. It's about access to more tools and strategies to increase your wealth. That's what it's about. Access to more tools and strategies, the same tools and strategies that institutional TradFi has, and being able to provide that in the digital asset space to retail in the digital asset space. Again, institutions already have it. So being able to bring those tools and strategies to DeFi, where you're not relying upon a third party. True decentralization, right? So what does the ideal DeFi platform look like? Best borrow and lend rates. Interesting. So there's that. So low latency, cross-chain, use assets like XRP natively, right? So this is more markets. This is the more markets that Hugo over here referenced that I read incorrectly the first time. Okay, right. So let me read this away. Uh, there will be vaults on the ledger where XRP holders can just deposit and earn yield. This yield will be derived from other ecosystems, e.g., Flare, like Flare. So other ecosystems, including Flare. The vaults abstract away the complexity for the depositor. In parentheses, it says, see more markets who Flare will be working with. That's this more markets right here. And again, this is about providing more value to XRP holders. More tools, more resources, thus more strategies that again, traditional finance, TradFi, already has access to. This is why I say, don't you think they make money in the bear market and the bull market? You understand? DeFi is about leveling the playing field and giving access to tools and strategies that have typically been siloed out there for traditional finance, right? And old money, right? That's what historically has been, right? And I mean, here's that's the truth, right? Old money, they're not building this for us, but that's why this movement is important. The old money doesn't want you to move. Movement is important, right? That's not just a phrase; it's the reality playing out right now. Perhaps an XRP5. So if you felt locked out, overlooked, or overestimated, get you some gear. Rep the truth. Grab the hoodie, grab the tee, and let them know you weren't built to beg for access. You're here to build outside of the system. This is why when I hear and I listen to, there'll be a link in the description for the old money doesn't want you to win gear. This is why when I hear Hugo talk and I use the phrase or term, I'm more aligned. I asked a question, I asked a poll. Just me. I'm more aligned. I asked the question, are you more aligned with, in terms of institutional DeFi, are you more aligned with what Flare Networks is doing or what Ripple is doing? And I said I was more aligned with what Flare is doing because I think they're speaking to the true crypto ethos. And they're keeping that always in mind. And one of the things for sure is going to be less intermediaries and you custodying your stuff. Right? I think about what I'm doing with my FLR token, just as an example, in the way that system is set up. Withdraw my FLR anytime, unwrap it anytime. But while I keep it wrapped and delegated, I'm still able to use it other places to earn money on my money. This is what happens in traditional finance. But most people don't know that. Yeah. Just, yeah, that's the truth. Let me see here. That's what we're trying to do. We want the same access, my friend. Brother Crypto's in the building. What's going on, bro? What's going on, bro? Appreciate you checking in. What you guys got going on here? Um, yes, you are NFC CryptoCeej, non-fungible CryptoCeej. That's right, Rick. I agree with you 100%. It's going to be a big shift once we get that. confirmation that Ripple and Flare are kind of working together in sync. A lot of things aligned together. It'll be a big shift amongst XP holders. Rick says remember Hugo said we want institutional DeFi. If you listen to Monica Long, Ripple president, we want to create institutional DeFi. Both FLR and Ripple, both Flare Labs and Flare Networks and Ripple Labs will work together in the future. I agree. I think that there's going to be, I don't know how I would say it. I was listening to an interview today by Flare Ford, and he kind of stated it in there. XRP is going to do a massive thing for Flare. XRP is going to do a massive thing for Flare, but Flare is the engine for the XRP to run. They'll work synergistically together. Oh, you meant ETH. Okay. Brother Crypto says one only has to look at ETH to prove your point, CJ. Yep. Rick Cisneros says agree. If Ripple Labs would create a liquidity incentive pool, the price of XRP would jump $20 overnight. This is what's missing, unfortunately. Who knows what they're going to do? Yep. Brother Crypto says I'm to the point, CJ, where it makes no sense to own a crypto where I can't participate in DeFi with it. You wouldn't put your fiat in a bank where you earn no yield, would you? Yeah. And the bottom line is it's just access, right? We want access to more tools and more strategies to earn money on our money, right? It's as simple as that. That's how it goes. Let me share my guy Flirtatious with you guys before I hop off here. That's how it goes. This is the thing. It's an opportunity cost to the mindset of the death grip on your ledger, right? And this whole idea, if I got to be 100% on a death grip on the ledger or nothing, or I got to be 110% in DeFi and no death grip on the ledger. Like, why? To win in this game and in money, right? To win the money game, you need a nice flywheel. You need a nice flywheel with your money, in my opinion. To get the biggest bang for the buck. And that's what we need, guys. You got to remember, this has been decades and decades and decades of a financial system that has been rigged against you. How are you going to catch up? Right now, you got to make 11, 12%. You got to get a pay raise every year of 11 to 12% every year just to be where you are, where you started the prior year. How many of y'all doing that? And by the way, if you sit around every 2.5 to 3.5 years for a wind moon, if not longer, for a wind moon, and you're in dirty, nasty fiat now, guess what's going on with that fiat? It's losing 12% every year until the next bull run. You ever think about that? You ever think about that? I mean, the hurdle rate doesn't change just because you're not in crypto anymore. The hurdle rate doesn't change just because the bull run's over and you 10, 20, 30, 40 extra money. It doesn't change. You're still losing 12% on that money at a minimum. Those are the numbers. Those are the facts. Now I get it. You got an extra high. You have an extra 500,000 to 5 million that you didn't have. I get it. What'd you do with that? You got a plan? You got a strategy? I hope it's not putting it in the market. I hope you're not thinking, I'm just going to put this in the stock market. I hope it's not that. God, I hope it's not that. All right, let's take a listen to my dude here, Flirtatious, man. This is a little Flare Networks deal. This is pretty good. Like, make sure I can find it. Take a listen to this, Rick Cisneros.
Yeah, real utility, real vision. Shout out to Hugo, the billionaire magician. We ain't guessing, we connecting. Decentralized ambition. Wake up, check the chain, sync that RPC. FLR stacking while you tapping it in PCs. Oracle black and data on chain, proof in motion. Proof determinism, killing off that ghost.
Let's go.
They sleeping on the field. He got white papers dropping like source, torch, and steel. This ain't no mean point dream or DeFi hype. This that cross-chain gospel. Ignite the light. You ain't rich yet? Pack some flair with us. Connect the dots. Still driving the bus. Decentralized flame burning slow and hard. We ain't just crypto. We the utility star. Call it songbird season. F assets in flight. Bringing off-chain truth to the blockchain night. Fed up with the fakes. Now we trust with Matt Blair. Time series pushing real data on the path. FTSO got the truth down on the timer. Wind, moon, don't matter. We got a chain that's finer. Bridging assets like we Moses in the code. Flooding all the markets, let the network overload. You ain't rich yet. Bags of flair with us. Connect the dots. You go driving the bus. Decentralized flame burning slow and hard. We ain't just crypto. We the utility star. It's not about price. It's about precision. It's not about hype. It's about provision. While they talk, we just scale. While they hate, we just validate. While they rub, we build a chain that liberates. Exchanges slept, so we woke with light. Now it's flare finance all up in the sights. Hugo in the lab like Bruce Banner with the packs. OG with the vision. Got validators on his back. That EV cross-chain that's real putting the pain. So why you flexing JPEGs and vaporware thoughts? Talking smart contracts that make chains crumble like chalk. Yeah, back flare with us. Connect the dots. You go driving the bus. The centralized flame burning slow and hard. We ain't just crypto. We the utility star. OG who go with the foresight. Flare bags heavy with the torchlight. Truth ain't hype. It's code in flight. Flare dreams. Yeah, we do this right.
Here it is, family. Guys, do me a favor. If you didn't hit that like button on the way in, no worries. Just collapse the chat real quick. Go smash the like, come back and hang out with the CryptoCeej and fam. That is awesome, awesome stuff right there. I love it. So, guys, do me a favor. Hit that like button on the way out. Appreciate you guys checking in. And if you happen to be in that 55% or so of people that are hanging out, listening to and watching the CryptoCeej, do me a favor. If you've been enjoying those hangouts, please consider subscribing to the channel. If you're about that movement, if you're interested in joining the old money movement, there'll be a link in the description to grab you some of that old money doesn't want you to win gear. I appreciate you guys checking in. I'm going to end this live stream like I do all of my live streams and remind you guys of this. Old money doesn't want you to win. But that's okay, though, because you and I, we're already winning. And I would ask you to consider this or perhaps ponder the idea or notion of living your life permissionless. I'll talk to you guys soon. See you. Bye.